Good evening. Always have to check. Good evening, people. Most welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever the case may be, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome to another episode of the Daily Grizz, your go-to roundup show for all things football. You know how we do. People, don't forget to hit that like button on your way in. I see a few of the club members are already in town. Pixelated Pigeon, always love that name. Yes, Stephen. People on your way in, like the stream. There's nearly 50 of you already in here. Um, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk so much, man. We've got so much to talk about today. It's been a bit of a busy Monday, man. But and obviously, I don't like talking on my own. And I'm not one of those people that even if I know I'm talking to an audience or I'm talking to a people, I just feel like I'm talking on my own. So I always like to bring in friends and family. And I've got a few friends coming today. Um, Fahi's been on my channel before, but still, Fahi, you're always welcome. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Can't complain. I know me and you went for a nice munch the other day. We won't tell the people where we went in case what I mean. Actually, we will. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna promote that place. We're gonna try to get some sponsorship of that place before we start bigging it up. What do you think?
That's
Because
that's true. You know that's a
no,
good
no,
point.
no, no, no,
It's
no, no,
good. It's
no. You know
true.
why? No, you know why? That one meeting with you has opened my eyes up so much that all I think about everywhere I go now is business, bro. That one meeting with you possibly could change my life. So, but listen,
God willing. God willing.
God
Listen.
willing, man. Inshallah, God willing. Great to have you on, of course.
Thank you, bro.
And Aaron, what are you saying, bro? My good friend. Boy, you got a lot to talk about, and I know you're gonna get a lot off your chest. But of course, making your debut on my channel, obviously we got things brewing that we're gonna tell people later on. But of
Yeah,
course, very, very, very welcome.
thank you very much, man. First time on your channel. It's good to be here, man. Like you said, there's a lot to talk about, and yeah, man, I can't wait. Can't wait.
Exactly. And you already know, Togs, man. I ain't giving you no fucking welcome, man.
I wanted the intro, but it's calm. It's calm. It's calm. I've been on this channel a couple of times.
Intro, tap out Togs is in the building as well, people. You know
Shut
what I
up,
mean?
Liz, man.
So, if you want to send abuse, send it his way. I will always highlight the comments that are abusing Toby. Remember that I'm in charge. So anyone that wants to cuss Toby, cuss him. I'll bring it up. I'll read it out. Make sure I read it out. But Fahi, predominantly, obviously, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I just wanted to quickly touch upon something that few people that are talking about on social media, Twitter, wherever, with regards to Liverpool and the Bobby Firmino situation. So obviously we know Mane has left, Salah has renewed, and then obviously the question on most Liverpool fans, a lot of Liverpool fans is what do we do with Bobby Firmino? Because Bobby Firmino is, in fact, Bobby Firmino is the first, isn't he? He was before Mane.
He was before Mane. Yeah.
He was before Mane, so he's the original OG.
Yeah.
So he come into his last year as well. We haven't, as of yet, offered him a deal. A, what do you think the club should do? And B, what would you do? And how do you see this panning out? Because it's a tricky one. I know Bobby's everyone's favorite. In fact, I don't know if he's one of your favorites. How you see that situation panning out?
You know what, Grizz? It's an interesting one. With Bobby, because obviously he's not like he's fallen out of favor, but he's not in the main 11 anymore, right? And then when you're looking at the centre forward options, arguably you would say he's third choice now. You've obviously got Nunez, you've got Jota, and then you've got Bobby, right? When it comes to playing different positions, Bobby isn't really someone that can play on the left and right. He can obviously do a competent job, but that's not really where his best skill set is at. As time's gone on, his body is kind of giving way slowly but surely. So I don't really think he can do the most in those positions. So really and truly, it's a centre forward position or a attacking centre mid position, which doesn't currently exist in our system. So I've been thinking all along that what would happen is obviously Mane leaves and Klopp would obviously continue with the 4-3-3, but also the option of the 4-2-3-1, right? Which then could mean behind Nunez, you can have a Jota playing there, you can have a Bobby playing there. But now I'm seeing these links to Juve, 1 year left on his deal, and I'm seeing numbers up to 20 mil. If I'm the club and I'm really thinking about it, and you've got certain players available from Bayern Munich right now, it could possibly make sense to sadly let Bobby go sign that player from Bayern Munich. The player is obviously Serge Gnabry. And then what ends up happening is you have sufficient cover for each position. Because if you look at it right now, our team and our forward line is covered on the left-hand side. You've obviously got Diaz, Jota, and Nunes can play on the left. Centre forward, you've obviously got all three that I've mentioned previously. Salah can also play centre forward. If you're looking on the right-hand side, Diaz can do a competent job, Jota can do a competent job, but you wouldn't say that's a strength of their positioning, like the position play, right? So on the right-hand side, if you bring in a Gnabry, you've got cover for Salah. Left-hand side, you've got the options there. Centre forward, you've got the options there. You sacrifice Bobby. Really and truly, is Bobby going to get any better? Of course he's not. He served his time. He's done a really good job for us. If 20 more comes in and you can get Gnabry for 30, 35, I personally think it's worthwhile looking into. I don't know what you think. You tell me.
I quickly checked my WhatsApp groups to see if you're in any of the ones that I said this last night, to see like where you got this idea from. Then I checked, did I say this on the show last night? No, I didn't. I'm exactly of the same mindset. I swear to God, I was saying the same things. Because, don't get me wrong, Bobby is a favorite. Like Bobby's joy in it. Like he's the joy of football. He's the one he's got that style to him. He's got that grace. He's got that class. But we have seen the best of him. Firstly, I don't think any club will pay 20 million for him. So I don't believe that there's any legitimacy to that bid. Yeah. But if it was, bro, I'm absolutely with that thinking. Especially and only if we do what you suggested as well, look at Gnabry, because Gnabry for me is one of the players on the market that I don't know what's going on with that. Like, why isn't there a queue? Like a queue, like, you know, when like new restaurants open up and they do like 75% off, and there's, you know, you see queues and queues of customers. Why isn't there a queue like that?
Makes no sense. I think the only thing that could possibly be off-putting about Gnabry is the wage demands, or the supposed wage demands. You're looking at above 200k. That's what they're saying.
Maybe,
so
yeah.
If you're looking at a Gnabry and he doesn't, you're not guaranteed to start him every single game. Are you really willing to put 200k per week on his name? I think that may be the only thing where clubs are kind of working out whether it's worthwhile going for or not. But yeah,
Aaron, just a very quick thought on obviously Bobby, like from a rival point of view, and then what we touched upon, Serge Gnabry. What's your thoughts on a player? Because a lot of clubs like could do with someone like him, man. He's to me, he's immense, man. He's very, very openly not signing a new deal with Bayern, it seems, and that suggests that he's available for a very decent fee. So first, Bobby's situation, what do you think of him as a rival, seeing him play over the years for Liverpool?
I've always liked Bobby. I've always thought, you know, I admire people that are able to sacrifice their own game, their own qualities for the benefit of the team. That's why I rate people like Bobby, people like Benzema, who's done the same when Cristiano was at Real Madrid. I can admire people like that and still not lose their qualities. Do you know what I mean? So I rate Bobby for that. I think he still has a lot to give to the game. Because a lot of people said that, you know, he might be finished, and because club doesn't play him as much anymore, he might be done. Nah, I think he still has a lot to give to the game. And I didn't actually know about the links to Juve. So when you both mentioned it, I was like, "Ooh, Juve! That's a very good team for him to go to." Maybe the Italian league would probably suit him. I think he'd do very well in there. So yeah, as a rival, looking at the situation, I think yes, cashing in on Bobby probably would make sense. Because let's face it, with Nunes coming in, or with Nunes signed already, Bobby's not really going to play every game. Maybe 1 in 5, 1 in 6. It's not going to be as much as he probably wants to. I'm assuming he wants to go to the World Cup with Brazil. And if he does, then staying at Liverpool and not having a lot of game time might not be the ideal thing to do. So if he wants to make that Brazil squad, I'm not saying force for a move, but have a conversation with the board, have a conversation with Klopp maybe, and tell him, listen, maybe it's time for me to go. And listen, Grizz, same thoughts. I don't know why clubs are not queuing up for Gnabry, because you only have to look at the performances, and I'm sorry to say it, Tobes, against Tottenham and against Chelsea in the Champions League. I think from those two performances, people should have enough. They should have enough to be like, okay, yeah, this is what we can expect if Gnabry comes to the Premier League. If Liverpool put in a bid, I believe that Bayern will not hesitate to. It might take one or two bids. Maybe the first one they'll reject, but the second one they might accept it, because from what I hear and from what I see on German television, the relationship between him and especially Oliver Kahn is not the greatest. You know, Oliver Kahn comes out and, in interviews, and he takes a dig at Gnabry subliminally. Then Gnabry will hit back at Kahn like subliminally as well.
It's proper Hollywood, isn't it? It's proper Hollywood.
Yeah, it's proper Hollywood, bro. And this might be the perfect opportunity for clubs to come in and go, listen, why, can we have Gnabry for maybe 30 to 35 mil? Because he hasn't signed that new contract yet, and his wage demands are quite high. I'm not gonna lie, you guys are right about that. But yeah, if you don't get Gnabry, I heard he's on Man City's list as well, and I'd rather he goes to City than Liverpool, because I know what the guy can do. And I've seen him play for Bayern Munich a lot of times. For Germany, it's a bit less. He's not as prolific as he is like with Bayern, but yeah, if Liverpool are serious, you guys go in for Gnabry, because that front three will be devastating, and he will suit Liverpool's style of play down to a T.
I agree.
And you know what? Sorry, just to interrupt, Grizz. Aaron made a good point about Bobby and the World Cup. Obviously, right now, he's not fallen out of favour from the national squad, but he's not making the national squad as much. Now, that could be due to injury. That could be due to him not playing as much. But if he knows, for example, that really and truly he's not second choice centre forward, he's probably third choice, he's not going to get as many starts before the World Cup, and he really wants to make this potential golden generation of a Brazil team, right? These guys are picked as one of the faves to win it. And if he really wants to make that World Cup squad, he may potentially look at his options and be like, you know what? If I can get a move to Serie A where I'm going to be guaranteed game time, I may go there instead. But
in effect, he's really not. I don't think he'd be guaranteed at Juve as well. It's one of those clubs. They got Vlahovic. Yes, they got Chiesa coming back. Just before we carry on, Aaron, a few people are saying there's some slight issue with your audio.
Is it? One second.
Sound. So, do you want to mute yourself and come back or something, or try something? I don't know. Maybe it's the Bluetooth.
I'll jump out and jump in again.
Yeah, cool. It's probably something to do with that. You're a Bobby fan, Tobes?
I am.
What would you do? Last year, okay, let me set the scene for you if you don't know. He's into his last year. How old is he, Fahid? 31?
31 years old.
Yeah, 30, 31. I think Fahid's right. He's probably about second or third choice. I don't know if Nunes is ahead of him, but he probably is in terms of because of the price and everything, although Klopp doesn't look at that. But let's just say second, third choice. Last year, I don't know. How would you look at it from right? Would you want him to be gone, or would you like him to be kept?
It depends on him, really. Like,
I think it depends on him. Yeah.
It doesn't. It depends on him, really. I don't really like if he's content. If he's content with being the third piece at this stage of his career at Liverpool, and if it helps you lot in your pursuit for more trophies, more domination, etc., then I don't see the need to sell Bobby. I mean, like two years ago, the issue was Liverpool are solely reliant on Bobby Firmino to lead the line, and
he's the system.
He was the so-called system, and couldn't function without him, and he had issues. He wasn't a consistent goal scorer because he's not a striker. He's done a really good job in that role for Liverpool over the years as a false nine, but people need to remember that this guy isn't a nine. So since then, 2 years later, you've added, or 2.5 years later, sorry, you've added Jota, who's been a success, and then now you've added Nunes. So I don't think it would be wise for Liverpool to sell Firmino now or push him out the door. I don't really see that, because I think if you're telling me that you have Bobby Firmino as a rotational player, then the conversation is completely different to him being an undisputed starter. He doesn't need to start. You can play him in cup games. You can bring him on as a sub to have an impact. Ultimately, if he wants to stay at Liverpool, I wouldn't be looking to get rid of him. But if he's pushing to move, then of course, yeah, you're better off selling him this summer than losing him on a free transfer.
You know what, Fahy? I think he's pretty much nailed it, because
Yeah.
it will come down to him. And I think he's got enough credit in the bank, especially with the club, especially with the way he's performed and being like such a servant, man, for the club. Like sacrifice, like Aaron was saying, like sacrifice sometimes his needs, whatever, to perform. I think Klopp would give him the opportunity to decide what he wants to do. But the key part in this is, would you, if you're Liverpool, would you offer him a new contract though, Fahy?
Well, this is the thing, Chris. So he's at that age, right, where he's not going to get any better. He's obviously slowly but surely, his body's breaking down. He's not making as many minutes as he used to. He's on supposedly 180 grand a week, right? Now, if you're the club, what do you do in this situation? You're going to offer him what, a 3-year deal? In that 3-year deal, what are you going to offer him? Are you going to offer him 180 again? Because you're not going to improve his deal.
No chance.
Right? So are you then offering 180? Is he worth 180 a week? And again, I love Bobby. I'm thinking from a business point of view. Is it 180?
Because our owners do think from a business point of view. Whether we like it or whether we don't, it's a fact.
So then what? You're reduced. Let's say you reduce your salary to 150 a week. Why would you want to stay at 150 a week when you can go elsewhere and get more? Do you get what I mean? So there's all these different things at play, and I think the club probably do need to work out ASAP what they're doing with Bobby and maybe have a word with him, because there's obviously a year remaining. He can potentially start agreeing a new deal with someone else in January, and obviously you don't want to let someone like that go for free. But then again, he's got enough credit in the bank where I guess you could just let him go with his blessings and be like, you know what, you've done so much for us, we'll let you go on a free and just serve your 12 months here.
I'm not going to lie to you. I think a conversation, I said it on my show last night. People, you haven't checked out last night's Red Fellas, go and check it out. It was a cracking show with a panel. I think there's an agreement and understanding there, Fahy. I think there's there's definitely conversations to be had, 100%. They wouldn't leave like no conversations.
Yeah.
Like no conversations going into his last year, as you said. So I think Bobby's one of those guys, and like Toby was saying, it's up to the guy if he wants to just chill out and, see out his year and then assess it. Maybe he wants to go back to Brazil. He's one of those guys that has spoken about, going back to his hometown and playing. So I don't know, would he, or maybe he's too young for that. But whatever, his options are open by then. And I think he would go with absolute blessings from Liverpool. I think he's one of those guys that we just let chill in it, Tobbs. Like you can tell he's one of those chilled out guys. He's just not a proper low maintenance. Like he wouldn't cause trouble. He wouldn't cause an issue.
Yeah.
But how about Gnabry? Are you a fan of his? Because I think he'll be stunning in the Premier League. I think he's ready.
I think he's quality. I think with Gnabry though, I don't even know what I'm calling him Gnabry. I always call him Nabry. I think with Nabry, at this stage of his career, he wants to be a main piece. He wants to be, in my opinion, one of the guys to call upon, a go-to guy. And I think that even is probably behind his reluctance to sign a new deal at Bayern, because I think from what I read, they prioritized Kingsley Coman's contract renewal over his, and they already signed Sane like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. So I feel like, and I could be speculating here, but from the outside looking in, it feels like he doesn't feel the love. So whilst Liverpool would be an attractive option for Gnabry in terms of the stature of the club and the ability of the club to challenge for silverware, is that what is in his best interest at this stage of his career, to not only solidify himself as the main piece in the team, but with a World Cup on the horizon, he needs to be, he wants to solidify himself in that Germany starting 11 as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We were going to go to the Man United news next, but it looks like Aaron's gone to buy a new mic. You know what I mean? Instead of like fixing his current one.
PC World.
Do you know what I mean? So, but let's see what we make of it anyway. What we know for sure today, a couple of deals that are literally on the verge, if not done already. So David Ornstein, who's probably probably the tier one journalist in the UK right now, guys. I don't know if you agree. I think he's an amazing journalist. Amazing. I think he's probably number one, right? I don't know if you guys agree, but
Yeah,
he
no, I'd
says,
say so. I mean, he's pretty much spot on with everything that he reports nowadays. So yeah, man.
yeah, he doesn't mess about.
Yeah.
So he's got an exclusive. He says Christian Eriksen has verbally agreed to join Man United as a free agent. 30-year-old playmaker has communicated desire to play for Man United, except 3-year deal. Contract needs to be finalized and medical conducted before complete. Um, Fahi, what do you think about this move? I think I like the player a lot. I think he's a brilliant player.
Yeah.
And I know you can't have enough good players. Like Man United fans have been telling me, we just need good players. The more better players we have in our squad, the better chance we have of actually playing some good football finally, right? But I don't know if this is, I don't know. I think
I,
him, Bruno, and Van der Beek all in the same
I
team.
don't
How's
see
this
how
going to
you make
work?
that work.
That's my
This is
point.
this was my question as well, because like I don't want people to take this out of context, because it's like Ericsson in isolation is a good player. Ericsson,
Is
Yeah.
in my opinion, in isolation is a really good signing on a free.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the playmate, despite the pacemaker stuff and his age, I think that's a good pickup on a free transfer. But then you have to apply it to Man United situation, and the only thing I can say that is a positive in this deal is the fact that Ericsson is a good player, and I think he raises the technical standard in that midfield. But then when I'm looking at the team, they just gave Bruno Fernandes a new 6-year contract a couple months back. Are we now saying that Bruno isn't going to be the main starter? Van der Beek, who they signed for 40 odd million 2 years ago, he's still waiting to find his feet. And you would have thought that under a manager like Ten Hag, this would be the best opportunity for him to actually sort of stake a claim in this team. But then they bring Ericsson in. So it's now effectively three players vying for one spot in this team, because Ericsson can't play in the double pivot, in my opinion. And Van der Beek, okay, he can deputize in that role, but from what we've seen in his best stint in Ajax, he played a position that allowed him to be in more advanced areas of the pitch. So there's still 2 months left of the window. I still think Man United have plenty of time to address some of the other midfield issues, but it's like Ericsson as the first midfield signing, based on what we know they need from an optics perspective, it just doesn't look great. It looks like
Also,
I can't
coach.
really see the plan.
Yeah, and also, and just to add to that, obviously, signing or getting Ten Hag to agree to manage United, you're thinking he's gonna kind of bed in new players, young players, and bring a new culture to the club. I don't think signing Ericsson, as good as he is, kind of helps with this rebuild. I feel as if it's just bringing in another steady body to kind of see them through some tough times. And really and truly, he's got players in his position already. So I'm really intrigued as to how Ten Hag makes this work. I also don't know from Ericsson's point of view why he's taking this role. I guess from a monetary perspective, it's probably a great deal. I'm sure he's on like 200k a week, right? But from an actual player stress point of view and all that kind of stuff, if I was him, I would probably look at staying at Brentford and being like the best player there and helping these guys out and just be seen as like a phenom of some sorts. Where at United, he's going to get slapped about whenever they lose a game. He's going to get flogged. And I don't think he needs that stress anymore. He's played for big clubs already. He's played for Inter, he's played for Spurs and all this kind of stuff. Spurs aren't that big, but you know what I mean. I don't think he needed to go to United.
There's no need for that. There's no need for that.
Sorry.
Low. Aaron, as you can see, we've moved on to sort of the news of today, or one of the major news of today, which is Eriksen. And I think Toby, in effect, was saying that in isolation, he's a bad boy. He's a very good player, technically gifted. Had a brilliant time at Spurs. Goes to Inter. He didn't have a bad season there, did he, guys? He had an okay. It wasn't a disastrous time at Inter. Like, wasn't he part of the league-winning team?
So it started off poorly. So he didn't play for Conte, and Conte's called him out and said that there's a standard that Conte wants from his midfielders, and Eriksen wasn't really offering that, and that's why he didn't play. But he dug he dug in there, and he won his way back into Conte's team, and he played a pretty significant role in their running en route to that Serie A title. So I would say it worked out well for him in the end, and of course he finished as a league champion. So by all accounts, I would say that his time at Inter was a success. So
What you're saying, Aaron, what we want to know basically is how you feel about it, and then what Fahi was saying. How do you see this? How do you see this setting up your midfield? Because it obviously seems like Van der Beek is going to be coming back. He's going to have a new lease of life under the manager. Bruno is still there, who plays in that area, and then you've got probably most likely Frankie De Jong coming in as well. How you feel about this move? What are you saying?
First of all, can you guys hear me properly? Can you guys
Yeah,
hear me?
your class.
So, I'm happy about this signing, purely because I know the struggles that we faced over the last 2 to 3 years, I would say, in terms of quality from midfield. Pogba aside, I don't think there was anyone in that midfield that we could actually really trust to create from midfield. Bruno was on and off. He's more focused on scoring goals rather than creating chances. And
Good point.
there were certain games where you could. Sorry.
Yeah, good point. That's a good point. He's more.
I think Bruno's more focused on scoring goals and upping his numbers rather than creating chances for others, which is not a bad thing. I'm just putting it out there. But I think Eriksen for the squad depth is really good, because we're going to be playing a lot of games this season, especially with the Europa League. That's an extra 2 games, I think, with round of 32 and all of that stuff. We're going to need that. Obviously, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, the World Cup's coming up as well in the middle of the season. So there's certain players that would not want to play too many games because they know they're about to travel to the world, to Qatar and stuff. In terms of how Ten Hag wants to play football, I think this is a good signing because he's someone who obviously came through the ranks at Ajax, knows how the Ajax way of playing football works. He trained with Ajax when he came back from obviously what happened to him during the Euros. And obviously sources came out and said that during his time at Ajax, when he was training there, he impressed the manager. And I believe that if there was an opportunity for Ten Hag to sign Eriksen at Ajax, he would have done it. I just don't think salary-wise it was possible for them. I don't think he's going to play every single game, but to have an Eriksen on the bench and to have that as an option to come on and to have that, assurance that okay, he's coming off the bench, but it's someone who's technically sound. I haven't watched too much of him because obviously when he was at Spurs, I didn't watch every game. Tobes would know better than me, but it's not a bad option off the bench. And in terms of the squad depth, it's not bad either. So I'm quite happy with this. I'm not gonna lie.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can see why Man United fans are happy about it because he's a technically good player. The more technically better players you have in your squad, as I said, the better chance you have of playing good football. And that's one thing Man United haven't been doing for a couple of seasons at the least. You just haven't been playing good football. So if Ten Hag is going down this technical route, like we know he's a technical coach, then he needs technical players. One of the accusations was your midfield lacks technical players, like the likes of Scott McTominay, even Fred. To a lesser degree, a lot of United fans call him very good technically. I don't totally agree with that, but I think he's going to bring in a lot of technical players, and Eriksen's one of the best. That also coincides with the other news when it comes to Man United, Aaron. Where's it gone? Again, David Ornstein exclusive. I'm going to get Fahi's opinion first because I know he's got a jet in a little while. The hero, the legend. Let's not beat around the bush. He just wants to get out there. He don't care.
It's mad.
He wants to take a wage cut. He'll do anything. He'll do anything to get away from Man United right now.
You know what it is? I think he's seen a few of the comments on his Instagram mocking him, saying, Europa League on Thursdays. And he's like, you know what? I can't do this. I can't do this for my rep. I've been Champions League.
It's all about him. It's all about him.
It is. 100%.
I told Man United people, stop this about he loves us and he's back home.
He was desperate. He needed a move. He needed someone to take him in. And that's why United took. Well, obviously United needed him, and that's why he signed for United. He was desperate, really and truly. When it came to last summer, and they were doing the City United thing, I think City played it. And they just and United panicked, signed him up, and we all knew what was going to happen. Obviously, I know that Aaron's nodding as well, so it'll be good to hear what he says. But we all knew what was going to happen. But yeah, 1 year, and he's looking to jet. He's got his agent speaking to other clubs already, and he's technically handed in a transfer request in some sort of way, right? He's basically saying, look, if they make a good offer, please accept it. I want to leave.
Not even a good offer. He's saying, let me go. I'll take a wage cut. His agent is whoring him out left, right, and center to anyone really, which is sad indictment. But then, right, just when we think, first and foremost, I want to get Aaron's opinion on that, and then I'm going to come to Toby with a team that he's linked to. So, Aaron, what are you saying from your angle?
I couldn't agree more, man. I couldn't agree more. The thing about Manchester United fans is, they love a romantic story. Ronaldo.
A lot of fans do, to be honest with you. All our fan bases probably do as well. I get it.
Yeah. So first of all, what United fans have to understand is that if we didn't have Champions League football, Ronaldo would not have come back. That's one. Two, when he did come back, I had my concerns. While everybody was pulling out the archives and saying, Ronaldo's about to do this, that, and the other like he used to back in the early 2000s, I was busy telling people that I worry about this signing. And automatically people will call you all sorts of names and, you're playing with the GOAT's name and you can't say this and you can't say that. I knew this was going to happen. I knew that this season was going to pan out the way it panned out. With absolutely no disrespect, Ronaldo only cares about himself. This narrative that people put out that he loved the club and he came into the club and saw how bad the state of the club was. No, you knew the state of the club before you came back. Let's just put it out there. He knew exactly what was going on. He knew the Glazers were there. He was there when the Glazers took over. He was there when the Glazers when he left, the Glazers were still there. And before he came back, he knew the Glazers were there. So all these stories about, he wants the Glazers to invest and he wants the team to be better, and it's nonsense. He wants Champions League football and he's sulking. That's all it is. The fact that he's being linked with Napoli and the opportunity could be there for him to go to Napoli tells you that he doesn't care. He just wants anywhere where there's Champions League. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So United fans have to understand that. Now, in terms of like the team chemistry and all of that, United fans were deluded to put all of their hopes on a 37-year-old striker. I don't care who it is. It could have been Ronaldo, could have been Zlatan, could have been any 37-year-old striker that's declining. It is absolutely crazy to put all of your hopes on one guy who's 37, about to turn 38 in February, I believe. Another thing, and this is not me backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because I think he was a terrible manager. But one thing Ole did is that the front three had some sort of chemistry. Number 11, Martial and Rashford. They had some sort of chemistry. I don't know how he did it, but the chemistry was there. Ronaldo now comes in, and I said that two people will suffer from that. As soon as Ronaldo signed, I said, number 11 and Martial are going to be the two players suffering from that. I don't know how, but it's going to happen. Surprise, surprise, Martial goes out on loan, and then obviously number 11, whatever happened with him, that's another story. So now, everything goes through him. When Ronaldo's not scoring, he's a passenger in the game. And I said that we can't afford to have to go through a season where we play every game and we have someone up front who goes missing for 80 minutes, but then turns up in the last 10 and everybody goes, he's the goal. We can't afford to do that, and that's not how you win titles. I'm sorry, I don't care how romantic you are, but that's not how you win titles. Surprise, surprise. Did we win anything? No. But now everybody's talking about those 18 league goals like it's some sort of miracle. Bro, he's 37.
Yeah.
To me, personally, those 18 league goals don't mean nothing because it didn't bring us nowhere.
No, it didn't. No. It's all about what happens with the team at the end of the day. Yeah, exactly.
And right now, he's doing exactly the same thing that he did last year at Juve, which is not turning up to preseason training, which ultimately is, I don't care who you are, it's disrespectful to your teammates. You're making it all about yourself. I'm not buying this. I'm sorry, again, no disrespect, but I'm not buying this whole family emergency stuff because family emergency, but you're being spotted at the Portugal training complex. Family emergency, bro. Come on, man. Have some respect for your team.
Yeah. No one's buying that. If you're buying
I'm
that,
not
then
buying that.
you're naive, man. Naive. But Tobes, I'm not going to ask your opinion on Ronaldo. We've spoken about it, Biz. But I want to go on to the subplot to that. So it also says Mendes talks continue with Ted Bowley, intrigued by the idea. Tuchel admires the 37-year-old, but unclear if he would approve. What's going on there? Like, Chelsea's approach to the transfer market seems mad, and it suggests that they don't have a structure in place like they thought. They don't have a director of football I don't think he's got a. Okay, I know they tried our boy Fahy, they tried Michael Edwards, but he's got no ambitions of getting back into football, and definitely not at Chelsea. So this man's put on the uniform himself, right? And he's playing role of owner, cleaner, chef, everything. Like, he's taking over the whole gaff. This don't work, does it?
It's just, like, I think because we were discussing this on the Touchline pod yesterday, and a great point was made by our fellow man and Fahy's fellow brother Seb and Disu, that with Ted Bowley, like, he's the new Chelsea owner, so I think he's looking to make a statement. He wants to come in, hit the ground running, and basically stamp his ownership and his tenure. And I think all these names, like, that's what he's doing. Like Rafinha, I don't even know how long they were scouting Rafinha, but bang, they went in there to try to hijack Arsenal. He's now off to Barcelona. Apparently, they tried to hijack our bid for Richarlison. Apparently, now, obviously, they've just got rid of Lukaku and they're looking at Ronaldo. Like, I have nothing against Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah. Grizz, you'll know that, from the Big Six, that I've tried to defend Ronaldo as much as I can. Like,
too much. It winds me up. Yeah, it winds me up.
Too much. But I think with Ronaldo, we just have to accept what he is now. Yeah. He's someone who, if you give him the ball in and around the box, he comes alive, he can pop off shots, he can finish. But outside of that, yeah, Ronaldo will not bring Chelsea the things that they are looking for from their number 9. It's the same reasons why they were so angry at Lukaku at times. Lukaku's too static. You don't press. The build up, the hold up, the link up, you ain't got it. So Ronaldo at 37, 38 years old,
how's he going to do it?
Man United fans were asking of the same things and were saying that they were suffering the same things. How's it going to work? Yeah, he may finish off more chances than Lukaku. Ronaldo's issue isn't scoring, but are you telling me as a Chelsea fan that you'll take those additional 6 or 7 goals on top of Lukaku's 8 league goals that he scored this season if it's still not going to give you the wider benefits that you need all-rounded number 9 to give you? And when you look at the money involved as well, the wages are astronomical. So, yeah, Chelsea would have to pay what, like 25, 26 million to sign him, and then would have to offer him probably double their highest earner right now to have him, even if.
And they have no excuse not to offer him or match what United are offering him.
Yeah, exactly.
They have no excuse. Chelsea have the money.
So for me, like, I was discussing this with my friend who's a Chelsea fan, and Neymar was linked, and he was basically saying how Neymar would be a real sort of conundrum from a wage perspective. And for me, I get it, but I would much rather sign, if I was Chelsea, I would much rather sign Neymar than Ronaldo right now.
Even that, but does that even make sense? Because the only little bit of sense I can see about the Ronaldo is he's still an elite finisher. Like, Ronaldo gets a chance, he will score, and that's what Chelsea were lacking, right? Because they make chances, they just can't score. So that's the only reason. And obviously Sterling is on the verge of going to City, so that makes sense because Sterling. But again, Sterling is an elite chance creator. I don't consider Raheem Sterling an elite finisher. Whereas Ronaldo is the opposite now. Ronaldo is an elite finisher, but those days of Ronaldo creating chances have gone because of his mobility, because of his age. He don't move around. Fahid, the thing is, right, with Chelsea, I don't think Neymar makes sense either. I get the whole new owner wants to make a splash in the market. I'm the new guy in town. All that razzmatazz that comes with the American owners, man. They want to come in and make a splash. It makes no sense for either of those signings, in my opinion. Or does Neymar make sense in your opinion?
No, I mean, listen, Neymar is an absolutely world-class player, right? And any club would be lucky to have him. Obviously, I know the drama off the pitch is a different story. His availability is a bit of an issue as well. But I think he's an amazing player. For the Chelsea project, though, for Tuchel as the manager, I don't think it does make sense. I think by signing a Ronaldo or a Neymar, which wouldn't have been a Tuchel choice, you kind of have the same issue he had last season, where the club are signing players that he's actually not asking for. And you're basically undermining him yet again. So even with brand new ownership, with brand new ideas, with Marina going and all these people, Petr Cech going, all these
Nothing's
people
changed.
Nothing's changed. So it's like, how much can you really respect Tuchel as a manager? Because ultimately, he's just being given toys to play with.
If they go for Neymar or Ronaldo, Aaron, that's purely an owner's move. There's no way Tactical Tommy wants either of those players. It would seem from the outside, right?
It would be another Lukaku situation, isn't it?
Another Lukaku situation. Yeah.
He didn't really want Lukaku, but they ended up buying him anyway. So Tuchel's having to find ways to, fit him into his system. He's gonna have to do the same with Ronaldo if they get him. I don't know, man. And this is just going to be, it's going to be another team where everything will have to end with Ronaldo. And if it doesn't, he's going to be sulking. He's going to be walking off the pitch. He's going to throw his arms up in the air and be angry like he did with us. Like, I don't know.
I can't see it happening, man. I can't see that happening at all, man, personally. But then the question rises, guys, where does Ronaldo really go, guys? I'm really struggling to think.
Listen, if he goes Napoli, it's an absolute disgrace. Absolutely.
Napoli can't afford him.
Napoli can't afford him.
They can't afford him. They're not paying him.
I'm just going by the links. I'm saying links like Napoli. I'm like, wow.
The Napoli one doesn't even make sense as well, because it's like he said he still got like 4 more years. He wants to challenge himself at the highest level. Napoli ain't winning Serie A with him. They're not winning Serie A with him. They're not winning the Champions League. So what are you doing in Napoli?
Wolves F1 sends in a sticker. I appreciate the support, my friend. Thank you very much. Yeah, look, I don't see that making sense. But do you know what, Tubbs? Then they go for defenders, and De Ligt, we're told he's in talks. We know Rafinha don't want to go to Chelsea. We know Rafinha wants Barcelona, so we don't know how that's going to end up. We know Dembele, has he signed a new deal with
Not yet.
He hasn't signed. Okay, so we don't know what's going on with there. There's a lot of things in limbo still. And De Ligt, now we're hearing that he wants to go to Bayern. So Bayern are negotiating with him. Boy, there's not a lot of players that they're being able to secure. Why is that? Surely if Chelsea are offering the money and Tommy Tuchel is a renowned coach, what's going on here?
I don't think whoever it is able to sell the project at Chelsea.
The project.
As well as these other clubs. I feel like that also stems from the fact that they've also just gone through changing ownership. So I don't know. Again, I'm just speculating, but from the outside looking in, when I'm seeing them get pipped by other clubs, it looks as if these players who Chelsea want, there's no sort of clear sort of plan that's being mapped out for these players to say, here, this is what we want to achieve in 2, 3, 4 years' time. Here's how you fit. This is how we're going to improve the team. We're going to address this problem, address that problem, address this problem. This could be happening. I don't know. But all I'm saying is this. There's got to be some sort of reason as to why they keep missing out on some of these players.
I think
and they blatantly are. Sorry,
no, definitely. No, I was going to say, I think with Chelsea, the only players that seem to be actively looking to go there are players that need their salaries matched. So like a Raheem Sterling or a Cristiano Ronaldo. That's
not a good look. That's not a good look, though, is it?
I know, but that's what's happening, right? But whereas if you're looking at players that are looking to go to the next level and they have a few options, Chelsea aren't really the first choice right now. What reason? I'm not sure. I think the discussion you and Tobes are saying about the way they're selling the club probably isn't right is probably true, because ultimately right now they don't have football people at the top. So who is selling the dream? Is it Tuchel? Because even again with Tuchel, he's not the most personable of people. So can he really sell that dream? Do you get what I mean? I think there's a load of issues in Chelsea right now, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I think Sterling will happen for sure. But yeah, if Ronaldo happens, for example, I think it just shows that they are a club that are taking in players that just need their salaries matched.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of work to be done at Chelsea and Man United, and the window hasn't started off well. I know they've just secured a left back from, was it Feyenoord? Man United.
Yeah, Malacia. Yeah,
that's right. So they've managed to secure him, and they've managed to secure a left back that's decided to go to United over Leon. Well done. And then they've got Ericsson, who's decided to go to United over Brentford. Well done. But they are after that they're struggling to get any sort of players worth their salt, or are coming from a level of sort of equality in terms of stature. So the likes of Frankie de Jong's coming from Barcelona to United, but he just doesn't want to leave Barcelona. But as you guys said, long way to go yet. And same with Chelsea. I think Spurs and Arsenal are doing business. We know Gabriel Jesus was announced today. Mm-hmm. Spurs wise, what's going on? Anything on the books? Because I know you started off like a house on fire, and then you slowed down a little bit. Are you gonna have a strong ending? Are you gonna have a strong ending?
Yeah, I think there'll be more signings. Richarlison obviously was signed on the weekend, but all the club correspondents are saying that we're going to sign. I think at least 3 more players before this window. So
3.
Jed Spence, yeah. I think we need to sign a right wing back. So Jed Spence is the name that's being bandied around for the right wing back slot. I think it's expected we can try and push through with a deal this week. Clement Longley as well. I think that loan deal is now in place, potentially. I think the clubs just need to finalize that between the two of them. And I reckon we'll sign him as well. And then I think the club are still in the market for another centre-back. So we likely to have 2 centre-backs before the end of the window. And then on top of that, I think they're also looking at exploring options for another midfielder if the opportunity presents itself as well.
What that makes them, for me, Fahy will wrap it up very soon. I think that makes them favourites for that 3rd spot for me.
Yeah,
I genuinely think they cut the gap to us and City as well.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're going to challenge us for the title, but I genuinely think they're going to cut the gap down.
Agreed. I think Conte is a top manager. I think the signings that are coming through are brilliant. They've managed to keep the main players of the squad already. So really and truly, they're only going to improve. You've already seen how they've performed against the big teams last season. And that was with a squad that he was kind of given, right? Now he's able to kind of mold his team the way he wants. You're really going to see the best of Conte. We've already seen he can damage the Premier League with the way he kind of plays. And I think he will do really well this coming season. I think third place is definitely the target for sure.
Definitely. I don't think, Toby, you can't hide from the fact that you're.
No. We've spoken about it in chat. I've said it on Touchline. If Conte gets, provided we continue and Conte gets all his targets, I want 3rd spot on the trophy. That's the target. That's the expectation for me. We have to end the trophy drought this upcoming season, and we have to finish in the top 3 and bridge the gap to Man City and Liverpool, because we know we're not winning a title.
I hope you don't. But the game's the game. We go again. We see how it goes. I think that's pretty much it for today's headlines, and I don't think we've missed out on anything else majorly. But yeah, thanks for one more time, guys, for popping in and having a chat on my daily show. Fahy, obviously, we're going to see much more of us and you. Thank you very much, my brother. I know you was in a bit of a hurry, and you was only promised me 30 minutes, but I've dragged it on. But I hope you don't hold it against me. And Toby, I'll see you in a little while.
Safe.
Guys, I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully there's more headlines. If not, we'll make the headlines. Take care.